Today's session is a tasting workshop, and what we are going to do is use all of our senses to examine some different types of food. So we're not just going to eat them, we're going to examine them in lots of different ways. And like I said, we do want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you think of them, what words you can think of to describe them. So we would ask, and whenever your teacher has time or someone has time, to pop some of your words into the chat box. And then at the end of the session, Sheila is going to have made a really cool word cloud with all of your school names and the words that you use to describe the foods. And we will share that with you so you can hang it up in your classroom if you like. So let's get started. So I will talk you through what to do, and I'll give you time to do everything. So there is no panic. So first thing we're going to talk about is the different senses that we have, because that's what we're going to be using to examine the foods that we have today. So can anybody tell me what any of those 5 senses are? So if anyone thinks they knows one, you can put it in that chat box, and we'll see if we can come up with the 5 different senses together. And then we'll talk about which ones are the most important for food. So we've got smell from Church Street, very good. Smell is definitely one of the 5 senses. Touch is another one, very good. We've got hearing, tasting, touching, and then, I nearly went ahead. And then Rahara is putting in sight as well to add to what we've got there. Really good, guys. So I think we've covered them all there. Well done. So 5 senses, then we'll look at them on the next slide here. We've got sight, so what we can see. Touch, so what something feels like on our skin, what kind of texture it might be. We have smell, what does something smell like, and smell and taste are actually quite closely connected, so we'll come back to that later. Those 2 things are related. So our sense of taste obviously is really important when it comes to eating. And then lastly, we have sound, our sense of hearing. So these are the 5 senses. This is what people use to experience the world. Some people might not have all of these senses, and they might rely on their other ones more. And some of you might have better sense of sight to your sense of smell, but everybody is slightly different. And we will be using a combination of these today. So another question for you is, which of these senses do you think you use when you are eating something? So what sense do you think is the most important when it comes to deciding whether or not you like food, or whether it's something that you enjoy? So we have a lot of tastes coming in. Definitely very important. Any other tastes or any other senses that you think are important? So smell, yeah, smell is an important one for sure, I think. That can really help you decide whether or not you want to eat something. But actually, today we're going to use all 5. And this might help you to use these different senses the next time you do eat something, because sometimes we don't really realize how important each of these senses are. Okay, so we're going to start off talking about sight. So how a food looks to us. That sometimes this can be our first impression of food and what it looks like. And that you might decide straight away, oh, I don't want that, or I do want that. That looks really nice. And so how something looks is really important, and it actually affects the way shops and places we buy food decide what to sell. So most of the fruits and vegetables that you can buy at the shops, they all look what we call kind of normal fruit, normal sizes, normal colors, even though it might taste just as nice. So for example, this picture at the top there of that purple vegetable, this is a vegetable that is a different color to normal, but it's one that I'd say everybody here has eaten. Just doesn't look like that. Does anybody know what vegetable that is, that purple vegetable? So they've been cut in half. So they're not that exact shape. They'd usually be double that shape. And it would be strange for you to find them in purple. Some of you might have grown them in that color though. So we have beetroot coming in, we have apple. It's not a beetroot or an apple, it's not an eggplant. It's a food that a lot of, it's very important in Ireland. Lots of Irish people would have eaten them, especially a long time ago. Oh, Church Street have got it. It is the potato. Well done. So purple potato. So potatoes actually come in lots of different colors, but the ones that we eat the most are more of a brown or beige color. And because we get used to it, but when you see a purple potato, you might think, oh, I don't want to try that, even though it might taste just as nice. And then like our carrots underneath, they're all a bit twisted up. You don't usually see ones like that in the shop, but if anybody here has tried to grow their own carrots, you might find that they do that quite a lot, because they're trying to avoid growing through little stones or things like that. So they get all twisted up and they taste just as lovely. So the way that a food looks, it does affect whether or not sometimes we want to eat it. You have to be a bit more open-minded. So we're going to start off thinking about what foods look like by describing different foods. So we're going to start off looking at our lemons, and then we're going to describe a strawberry, a carrot, and either a mint leaf or any other herb. So it doesn't matter if you don't have exactly what I've put up here. I'm going to give you the pictures of them as well. And when you're thinking about what they look like, try to describe things like their color, their shape, their size, anything else about them. So what I want you guys to do is maybe you can pick them up. So we'll start off with the lemon. So I want you to have a good look at the lemon. If you have a lemon in front of you, that's even better. Have a good look at it, and then give us any descriptive words you can think of. So we have some good words coming in here already. So St. Thomas in Peach as well called it bumpy and rough looking. Yeah. And then we have Church Street saying it's squishy, cold, yellow, oval. Yeah, oval is a good way to describe its shape. Pointing at the end. Yeah. So it's not totally oval shaped, is it? It goes into a bit of a point at the end. And some might more than others. We've got soft and yellow. Yeah. Yellow, sour, rough. Now, interesting you've said sour, because does it look sour? Maybe it looks sour because you've tasted it before and you know that's what it will be. Very good. Yellow and strong smell. So we're already noticing the smell. Bump at the top and oval. Very good, guys. So we have loads of great words coming in here. Really good. It's great to have so many different descriptions. That's perfect. So we're going to move on now from the lemon to strawberries. Okay, so strawberries, these are one of my favorites. So strawberries, they're quite an unusual fruit. So we've gone with two fruits to start. Strawberries have their seeds on the outside, and they make them look a bit quite different to others. Other fruits where the seeds are inside. So how would we describe what a strawberry looks like? So again, you can talk about its shape, its color, what else do you notice about it? Does it look smooth? Is yours kind of bumpy and lumpy? What do you think about it? Again, there's different parts to the strawberry, so that green top to it, you could describe how that looks, as well as the main kind of body. We've got it's red with black spots and small. Okay, good one. So we didn't mention size before. And interesting, so yours has black spots. Some of yous, they might be yellow spots, because depending on how ripe they are. So we've got, yeah, like a triangle. That's a good one. It is a bit like a triangle, bumpy and seedy, red, white, green, and yellow. So there's quite a lot of different colors. You know, I think if we first asked you to describe a strawberry, people would just say red, but there is lots of different colors on it. All right. So green leaf at the top, red, small spots on the side. Very good. And then we have another description of it in terms of being wide at the pointy end. Very good. Pyramid, that's another good way to describe its shape. Rocket cone, I like that, very good. It's sometimes describing what it reminds you of is good. Someone called it odd, that's interesting. So it is a bit of an odd shape, I suppose. It depends on what you're used to. Spotty, you can see the seeds, very good. Rough, very good. So these are loads of great descriptions coming in here from everybody. Well done, guys. So we're going to move on now from the strawberry to our next item, which is our mint, or if you have another herb, that's fine. So anything that has a bit of a leaf on it. So again, you can describe either an individual leaf, or if you have it on a stalk, you can describe that. But there's lots of foods which look like things you might find growing on a tree. Looks like shamrock, yeah, interesting. So Churchill has a bunch of them. So they're green, strong smell, patterned leaves. Yeah, very good. What kind of patterns does anybody notice on it? Are all of the lines on them spaced out evenly, or is it a bit more higgledy-piggledy? So a lot of descriptions of smell coming through for sure. So tiny lines and veins, yeah, very good. So the veins are what you're seeing under the surface, and those veins are really important for carrying water around the plant and for carrying around their food. It smells like toothpaste, very good. You're getting ahead of us. Okay, that's brilliant, guys. Really great descriptions to have straight away. So we've noticed loads of different things about these foods, not just their color, but what they remind you of. And we're already using our other senses like smell and texture. So let's go on to our final food, which is carrots. So carrots, the ones in this picture here, they still have their stalks on. Yours might not have a stalk on anymore, and they might have been chopped off. And if anyone here has grown carrots, you'll know that they can have really long, lovely flowering kind of at the top, that can grow to be quite large, and you can actually eat these as I cook with them. And depending on whether you have peeled your carrot or not, it might be a little bit hairy or bumpy. So let us know what your carrots look like. Looks like a tail of a cat. Oh, that's a great one. Or a nose. Well, I hope my nose wouldn't look like a carrot, but yeah, they could look like a big long nose. All right. Very good. Looks like a cone with lines. That's a good one. Yeah. So they do have those lines, and sometimes the lines can be like big indentations, so they're kind of pushed into it. Another rocket. Very good. Rocket, like a green bean on top. Very good, guys. These are some great descriptions. They're pointy, yeah. So they go into a long point. So they change over time, don't they? Orange soft cone shape, 3D. Yeah, definitely 3D, aren't they? They're all different. Pinocchio's nose, yeah, there you go. It's more like Pinocchio's nose, like one of our noses, I'd say. You're right. Pinocchio when he's telling fibs. Brilliant, guys. These are all fab descriptions. I think we're going to do really well on this. So we're going to move on now from using our eyesight to using our sense of touch. So what does the food feel like? And again, this might impact on whether it's something you enjoy or don't enjoy. If you pick something up straight away and it feels maybe really slimy, you might think, oh, I don't want that. So there might be different textures or feelings that you prefer. So this is what we're going to look at now, whether a food is hard or soft, is it rough or smooth, squishy or rubbery, or any other words that you can think of. And you're already doing this, but I have it written down to ask you, does it remind you of anything in particular? So for this next section, we're not going to do every food. You can come back and do it with each food if you want later. But what we're going to do is we're going to describe a strawberry and your mint leaf. And what I want you to do when you're doing this is when you pick it up, close your eyes. So this is going to take away your sense of sight. So it's not really influencing how you think it feels. You're only going to be relying on your sense of touch. So maybe you can do this with a partner and close your eyes and have the person beside you put either the strawberry or the mint leaf into your hand, and then describe how it feels. So you can take your time doing this, and we'll start off with the strawberry. Oh, this is an interesting one. It feels like Play-Doh. You know, that's a really good way to describe it. And I actually thought that, feeling it myself, but I couldn't think of what it did feel like. So, squish, it reminds you of an orange. That's interesting. Because you would think an orange with its skin on it would have a different feeling of the fruit inside. Very nice. Looks like a tree. Yeah, the top of the stalk actually does look quite like the tree. Bumpy and hairy. Very good. I wonder if the hairy bit you're feeling is the green stalk, and the bumpy is the leaf. Like mini icing on a bun. Interesting. That would be a nice one. Maybe you're just hungry for a bun, I wonder. Very good, guys. So we've got lots of great ones coming in there. Hope you're all getting a chance to do it. Wet. You must have washed it. Very good. They do feel a bit moist. Moist and, yeah, another person said they're moist and bumpy. Very good. So these are loads of great descriptive words coming in there. We'll go on now to our mint leaf, or our whatever herb you have. So even though there are a few bits here, so from St. Patrick boys say that the strawberry feels spiky and smooth and slimy at the top. Very good. So different parts of it do feel different. And again, depending on what your seeds are like, they can be a bit sharper than others as they ripen. And yet at the top, sometimes the top part, if you've had them a while, they get softer and slimy more quickly. So you might sometimes, when they're ripening, they do it at the top more quickly. Rough, hairy, and scratchy. I think we're on to our mint. Very good. Fuzzy. Fuzzy is a really good word for mint. Flexible. Yeah, definitely. They move around quite a bit. Bumpy and dry. Brilliant. Leafy, veiny. These are all great words, guys. Very good. Bendy. Yeah. So it's much more bendy and flexible than your strawberry. All right. Very good. Light, breaks easily. Yeah, definitely. You have to be really careful when you're cooking with mint. Dry, smooth, and soft. Very good. Smooth and soft. Strong smell. Yeah. Don't worry, we're going to get on to smell in a minute. Be asking you for more details about what it smells like. These are great words, guys. Well done. Okay, so we're going to move on to our next section now. On to smell, your favorite one so far. And I think people mentioned at the beginning that smell is one of the senses we think of when it comes to eating, and whether or not we like something and what it smells like. And actually, there's two words, taste and flavor, that are quite easy to get mixed up. And the flavor of something, it includes how it feels in our mouth and when we're tasting it, but also it includes what we're sensing in our nose. So flavor includes both our sense of smell and our sense of taste. So it's a really important one. And I wonder, guys, is there any food or drink that you don't like the taste of, but you do like the smell of? That can be a bit unusual. For me, there is. I love the smell of mushrooms being fried. I think it smells delicious, but I don't like the taste of them. And I don't like this, or I do love the smell of coffee. So I love it if someone sitting next to me is having a coffee, but I don't like the taste of it. But those are probably the only two things. Otherwise, if I like the smell, I like how it tastes. And I think the reason I like the the smell of mushrooms, but I don't like to eat them. So I don't like the texture. Oh, so that's a good one, St. Patrick's Boys. You like this lemon, smell of lemon, but not the flavor of it. Dragon fruit and tomatoes, mint, vinegar. Oh, that's the smell of vinegar. So there are some foods, aren't there, that we don't always agree on in terms of the smell and the taste. So our senses aren't always the exact same. So we're going to focus on the smell of just two of our foods, which we have both been mentioned there. So we're going to smell and describe a piece of mint or whatever herb you have, and also a piece of lemon. So at this stage, if I could ask the teacher or the adult in the room to cut up some pieces of lemon, if you haven't already, which will make it easier for students to smell them. While you're doing that, we'll start off by smelling the mint and describe how it smells. So I think a few people have already said that they really like the smell of mint. So if you can think now, what does it actually smell like? What does that smell remind you of? Does it remind you of a particular type of place? Does it remind you of a certain time of the year? And what words come to mind when you start to smell your mint leaf, or if you have something like chives or something else? It's a nice, a clean smell. That's a really good way of describing it. Yeah, it is a clean smell. I wonder, is that because we think of toothpaste or we think of mint? But yeah, I think it does have a strong kind of clean smell. So that's a really good one. Real guys, make sure you're taking big, deep sniffs to get in your mint. Mentos, yeah, definitely. So there's lots of things that we eat, isn't there, that are flavored with mint, and we probably aren't eating it by itself. Lemon and lime, interesting. You must be used to having that with your lemon and lime drinks. Very nice. Kildare Play School. Tic Tacs, yeah, that's another good one. Reminds you of Tic Tacs, very good. I always find mint reminds me, I don't really know why, but of the summer. I kind of think there's something about this mint that takes me into the summertime. Maybe it's more likely to have it, you know, in a jug of water in summer, but that's what I often think of. Polo mints, silver mints, yeah. Coffee. I wonder, is that someone saying that they like the smell of coffee and not the taste? That's great, guys. Well done. Great to hear all those descriptions. So we will move on to lemon now. So what does lemon smell like, or what words spring to mind when you have a bit of a sniff of a lemon? Smells like orange. So St. Patrick's Boys think it smells like an orange. Yeah, so lemon and orange, both citrus. So they will be both a bit of a similar taste or smell there. Very good. It's quite there. I have picked quite strong smells for you guys just to make it a bit easier. So it's good to have a strong reaction to them. Brilliant. So just give you another minute or so there to smell. I'm going to smell my lemon actually while I'm here. See what I think of it. Oh, I actually really like the smell. I think to me it smells quite fresh. There's something that's very, very fresh about it. We've got some other ones here. Sour cleaning spray. Yeah, I can see why it says cleaning spray. Yummy, lovely oranges. Lemon meringue strepsils. I'd say you don't mean lemon meringue. Lemon meringue and strepsils. That's what you meant. Very good. Lollipop. Yeah, very good. These are great ones, guys. Fresh. Yeah, it smells really fresh to me. There's something really lovely about it. Washing up liquid. It smells like 7-Up. Yeah, it does smell like 7-Up. There's lemon flavoring 7-Up, I think, isn't there? That's great, guys. Brilliant. It's great to have that many different answers coming in. So we're going to move now on to the main event, which is taste. So taste is the first thing I think everybody said when I asked you what senses we use when we're eating food. So this is a really important one, obviously. And the way we taste is that inside of our mouth, and especially all over our tongues, we have all these things called taste buds. So it's just little sensory things which allow us, when they feel food on them, they recognize it and they send a message to our brain to tell us what they're like. And there's kind of 5 different types of main types of taste. So these are sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and umami. So umami is a hard one you might not have heard of, and it's kind of hard to describe umami. So we'll get a chance to taste something umami at the end, which is our soy sauce. The other ones you probably know quite well. So sweet, sugary things, sour, that's basically the opposite of sweet. And bitter and sour can be quite similar, but there is slight differences there. You'll know it when you taste it. And then salty, we all know as well. Now, most foods would have combinations of all of those. They're not going to be just one thing. And we can kind of get that combination when we taste it, but sometimes it might be a stronger taste depending on what part of your mouth it's in, because there's more taste buds there. And our taste buds actually are to help us know if a food is safe to eat. So especially thousands of years ago, when people might have been going out into the forest and trying to find foods, our taste buds would tell us what kind of taste they're noticing and whether or not they should spit it out or actually go ahead and eat it. So what we're going to do now is we are going to taste 2 things. We're going to taste a strawberry and we're going to taste some lemon, but we're going to do it in a very special way. So the first thing we're going to taste is strawberry. So I'll give you guys a sec to make sure everybody has one to taste, and then I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to demonstrate what I want you to do, because I don't just want you to eat it. We're actually going to use our nose as well. So remember I said that flavor, it includes taste and smell. So we're going to do something that might look a bit silly, but that's okay. So I'm just going to stop sharing now so I can show you what I want everyone to do with their strawberry. So everyone should get either a piece of strawberry or a whole strawberry in their hand. And basically, we're going to take a bite, put some in our mouth. But while we do that, we're going to hold our nose. Okay, so we're going to block our nose and we're going to keep it in our mouth for about 5 seconds and start to chew it. And then after 5 seconds, we're going to release our nose. And I want you to see, do you notice a difference between when your nose is blocked and between when it's open? So I'll show you first what I'm going to do. So I've got my strawberry. I'm ready to put my close peg on my nose. You ready? Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, open. And take a deep breath. Now, I'm not going to tell you what I notice. I want you guys to try it yourselves and see, what do you think of that? Do you notice anything funny happens when you open your nose? Got a few more words coming in now. It was sweeter when your nose wasn't blocked. It tastes plain when you have your nose blocked. Yeah, very good, guys. So this is something interesting. I don't expect you to do that when you're having your lunch, but it is interesting to see when you have your nose blocked, you can't taste as much. All of the flavor comes in when your nose is open. So you can still taste it with your taste buds on your tongue, but you're not getting the flavors. Brilliant. So everybody, that's what everybody is saying. It's nicer with your nose open, not as sugary, and you can taste more when it's the nose isn't blocked. So we have one school senior infants class that it tasted sour when your nose was blocked, so you couldn't get that sweet taste. Very good, guys. That's brilliant. So that's it's quite a fun way to eat, to try your foods sometimes, especially if you have something chewy, because you can start to, as you start to chew, it's releasing more and more around your mouth, and you're starting to coat your taste buds. So that can be a fun thing to do, is chew and chew and chew with your nose blocked. And then when you release your nose, you sometimes get a big whack of flavor. Okay, brilliant. So next thing we're going to move on to then is our lemon. So our lemon, I wouldn't be saying take a huge bite of, because it does have a very strong flavor. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to get a little slice, and I'm going to very gently just try a little nibble. Oh, very strong flavor and taste. So if you're brave, have a bite, or get a slice and just give it a little lick, or maybe have a small suck on the edges of it, and tell us, what do you think? How would you describe that taste? I wouldn't do the blocking your nose and opening it with these, because it's very, very strong. Okay, so we've St. Thomas, it says the mouth puckers up. Yeah, definitely. I'd say I feel like I'm tasting it all the way down my throat. So you don't have any taste buds down there, but they're moving all the way along. Yeah, so Church Street says, sour along the sides of my mouth, lovely and sour. So yeah, so you guys liked it. And that's it. You notice the taste all around your mouth, not just on your tongue, like you would with others. Kildare Place School says it's delicious, sour and sweet at the same time. Savory. That's an interesting one. Very good. Savory. So yeah, there's a lot of people actually like it. And lemon is a lovely taste. But for some people it can be a bit too strong. So yeah, St. Patrick's boys aren't loving it. Bitter, sour, not nice. So yeah, it definitely is quite sour, isn't it? Most sour thing in the world. There you go. Yeah, for sure. It's a very sour. It's one of probably the most sour things we would eat normally. Bitter as well. Yeah, it is bitter as well. So the mother, like, we don't eat very much things that have this kind of strong sour or bitter taste. If anybody has ever eaten sloe berries, they might be even more bitter. They look a bit like blueberries, and you find them growing on trees. Once you get used to it, it's quite nice. Yeah, that's true. If you are used to it, it becomes easier to eat more and more of it. Very good. That's great, guys. Okay, so if anyone wants to have a quick sip of water after that, you can, or another bite of strawberry, to get the taste out of your mouth. But we're going to go on now to, oh, we already did strawberry and lemon. I'm sorry to have that again. We're going to go on now to the last sense, which is our sense of hearing. So hearing was something we might not necessarily think of when it comes to enjoying food or not enjoying food. So, you know, I'm not sure how many of you it is important to what your food sounds like when you're chewing it. Sometimes it might be more important what someone else sounds like if they're sitting beside you, chewing noisily on a crunchy apple or something like that. But the sound of food makes when you're eating it, it usually depends on what the texture is of the food. So if something felt really soft to you when you were touching it, it might have a totally different sound when you're chewing it than something that felt quite hard. So something hard might be quite crunchy. Something soft might be more kind of I don't know what the right, might be a bit slushy in your mouth. It might might be quite quiet. So what we'll do now is we're going to try and focus on what sounds a food make when we are eating them. So for this final sense, we're going to use carrots and our herb. So for the teachers, if you could cut everybody or prepare 2 pieces of carrot each, because we're going to use the second piece of carrot in a minute for our last little experiment. But everybody needs one piece of carrot to see what it sounds like, and also one piece of mint or your herb. What I want you to do is chew it, chomp on it, and describe what does it sound like. So your carrot and your mint or your herb. So start off a little upward for a carrot. I've got it just like in pieces like this. I probably won't eat it actually, because then you'll be hearing quite loudly the sound of me chewing away. So I won't do that. But I'll let you guys do it. So what does a carrot sound like when you start to eat it? Is there anything that you notice? We've got from churchy, crunchy, teeth banging together, chomping. Very good. Crunchy, chomp, chewy. Very good. So it's interesting that it can be crunchy and chewy. Snappy. Snappy is a good one from St. Patrick's. Not too tasty. Yeah, there's not as strong of a taste usually from the likes of a carrot to our lemon or our strawberry. Loud, stepping on ice. That's a good one. Stepping on ice is definitely loud as well. It's quite a loud food to eat, a bit like eating an apple. These are great, guys. Well done. Wonder does anybody like the taste of it? I know we're not on the taste one, but some people do. Carrots do have a bit of sweetness to them, so it can be nice to eat them. These are great words. Well done. So we'll just go on to our mint or our herb. It's quite a different texture to mint. So a lot of you, when you were describing what the mint felt like, were saying things like bendy, soft, flexible, the total opposite of carrot really, which was kind of hard and firm and long. So when you start to chew on mint, is it as loud as a carrot? Is it crunchy like a carrot? What words would you use to describe your mint or your herb? It sounds crackly and soft. Yeah, crackly is a good one to describe what it's like. Rahara says it's quiet, disgusting, strong taste, and good. So we have different opinions in Rahara about whether or not you like it. St. Patrick's boys are having chives, and they said they ripped when bitten. Yeah, very good. So you can kind of get through them quite easily. So they're not a really strong or hard item. Church Street says it's like cows chewing grass. Yeah, very good. I'm sure you look a bit more polite and not chewing with your mouth open, like when cows chew grass, or maybe not. Maybe that's why you thought of it. That's great, guys. These are loads of great descriptions. It's nice to have things that they remind you of. So we're going to go on to our very last thing now. And what we're going to do is a bit of a bonus tasting round. And this is the first time we're going to combine two things together. So for this round, what I want you to do is to dip a piece of carrot into the soy sauce and try that. So this will be combining everything really. What does it taste like? The crunch of the carrot, the flavors of the soy, the different colors and everything coming together. So when you're doing this, I want you to try and experience everything at once and see what springs to mind when you do this. And the soy, I said, it has that umami kind of flavor, so it's a bit of a different flavor than a lot of the things that we eat. But there's other things you might notice about soy as well, other tastes, and I won't give it away, but you might some other words might spring to mind when you try it. When I started it, the thing I could taste the most was the soy sauce. And then the more I chewed, I started to release the flavors and the taste from the carrot. And what's interesting with this idea, guys, is that we've been tasting foods just by themselves and noticing quite a lot about them. But most times, if you think about it, when you're eating something, you probably have a mix of things together. And so even if you have cereal for breakfast, maybe you're having milk on it or yogurt, and you're eating a sandwich, so it's not just one thing in it. You have your bread and whatever your fillings are, maybe it's buttered. For dinner, you know, you might be having pasta with some kind of sauce or vegetables in it. Or if you're having some like pizza, you have different toppings. So usually we are putting different tastes and different flavors and different textures and colors and smells all together, and kind of combining them. And it can be harder then to notice all of the different things. So this might be a bit of a tricky one. Just think about what foods you enjoyed the most, and what was it about them that you enjoyed? Was it just the taste, or did you also start thinking about what it felt like and what it looked like and smelled like? So that maybe the next time when you're trying, especially a new food, don't just stick it in your mouth straight away. Have a good look at it, have a feel of it, have a smell, and that might help you decide what it is like and whether you enjoy it or not. So it can be really nice to just take a bit more time with your food, and that might help you to try new things, because there's so many different types of food out there to enjoy.
So let's have a look at some of the words that you all mentioned about what strawberry looked like and felt like and tasted like, and check if many of the words you said in your own classroom matched up with these. So the bigger the word is on this picture, that means the more times it was mentioned. So I think the ones that were mentioned were the most were things like spotty, bumpy, nice, rough, seedy. So those are the things that people said the most often. And then we have other words that were said less, like sweet, triangle, scratchy, hairy, slimy, small, white, cone, moist and lumpy. So a huge number of different descriptive words when it comes to a strawberry there. And depending on what you noticed, you might have picked out a few different things as well, or used different types of descriptive words. So let's go on now and look at our lemon, the words we said for lemon. So the words that were said the most were sour, yellow, and things like cleaning spray, seeds in the middle, smells like orange, people said that, or strepsils. Lots of people mentioned smooth, oranges, lovely, squishy, delicious, seeds in the middle, rough, fresh, pointing at the end, shampoo, soothers. So there was some difference of opinion. Some people didn't really like it. They reminded them of things like shampoo and medicines. Then other people thought it was delicious and fresh, yummy, like honey and lemon or 7-Up. So we'll all have different opinions about what foods taste like and smell like, because we are all different. But it's great to get so many different descriptive words. So well done to everybody.
So we'll finish up there, guys. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody for trying that with us today. You guys had brilliant answers, great descriptive words. Hopefully it's something you can try again with other foods, maybe when you're home with your families, and the next time you're trying something new. Hope you have having a good Food and Biodiversity Week. Make sure you have a look on the website on our Food and Biodiversity Week page for all of our other activities and webinars. We'll leave it there, guys. Thanks again for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day and your week, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye, guys.